If you're freezing, dizzy, snappy, and wide awake at 2 a.m., now that's not discipline anymore. That's a stress signal. And today, we're going to talk about how the red flags that mean stop now. If you're cold all the time, your energy is tanked, and you have brain fog, that's a red flag. If you can't fall asleep or 2 to 4 a.m., you're waking up and can't get back to sleep, that's a red flag. Orthostatic dizziness, which means when you stand up or you change position very rapidly, you get kind of woozy, you get lightheaded, you feel like you're going to pass out. If you have mood swings or anxiety, binge urges after fasting, those are also signs. Remember that fasting is a tool. You need to use it gently or it will use you up. So they say fasting builds discipline. Absolutely true. However, you need to stop flexing your willpower if your biology is tapping out. But if you're freezing, dizzy, snappy, and wide awake at 2 a.m., now that's not discipline anymore. That's a stress signal. And today, we're going to talk about how the red flags that mean stop now, why they happen, and a 7-day reset so one bad week doesn't become a bad month. All right, so number one, the red flags. If you've got them, you've got to pause fasting. So first, if you're cold all the time, your energy is tanked and you have brain fog, that's a red flag. If you have sleep problems, if you can't fall asleep or 2 to 4 a.m., you're waking up and can't get back to sleep, that's a red flag. If you have mood swings or anxiety, binge urges after fasting, those are also signs. Something called orthostatic dizziness, which means when you stand up or you change position very rapidly, you get kind of woozy, you get lightheaded, you feel like you're going to pass out. If your workout declines, you start to notice a decrease in strength or your endurance sort of going backwards, then that's also a red flag. And also if your hair is shedding or if you have a low libido, this is something you need to pay very close attention to. And for my women out there, if your period becomes more irregular or if it's completely entirely missing, called amenorrhea, or if your PMS is worse, these are all red flags that you have to take very seriously. So if your fat loss plan nukes your sleep, appetite control, and your period, it's not a fat loss plan. It's a sabotage plan. So next, let's talk about why this actually happens. So your cortisol goes up, which is your stress hormone. Your thyroid hormone goes down. And fasting plus undereating does equal an increase in stress and lower T3, which is your thyroid hormone, the active form of your thyroid hormone, which creates a slower metabolism. And your metabolism is what you're burning at rest, and we want to increase that, not decrease it. And fasting is designed to increase that. If your electrolytes are low, if you have low salt intake, if you have low sodium, potassium, magnesium, if all of these electrolytes are tanking, you're going to get fatigue and dizziness and cravings. If you're underfueling your body, if you're doing a 16-8, but you're eating very tiny meals in that 8-hour window, then you're going to basically create a chronic deficit, which is going to lead to cravings and burnout. And then women, remember, you're not just smaller men. Your cycle phases change your stress tolerance. And in the luteal phase, the second half of your cycle, it's less fasting friendly. And so you have to take that into account. So remember that fasting is a tool. You need to use it gently or it will use you up. All right, number 3, the 7-day reset protocol. Here's how you can actually recover and recover fast. So days 1 through 3, you want to switch back to a 12-12, not a 16-8. So 12 hours fasting, 12-hour eating window. And you want to eat within that 12-hour window. And when you eat, you want to focus on protein. So you want your target protein to be about 0.7 or ideally 1 gram per pound of your goal body weight, your daily grams per pound of protein. So if you're 200 pounds and you want to get to 170, then your protein target should be about 170 grams per day. You want to focus on 2 meals plus a snack, but no grazing. You want to correct those electrolytes, so you can add 4 to 6 grams of sodium per day, or you can salt your food, which is very effective, salt to taste, where you feel like you've gotten enough salt intake, or you can add electrolyte mixtures to your water. You want to focus on magnesium and add about 300 to 400 milligrams, and you want to get potassium from food, meat and avocado. These are examples of high-rich potassium foods. So you want to also focus on that meal that breaks your fast. You want to prioritize protein and fat, like I've been saying in many of these fasting videos. So things like eggs and steak or salmon, but no sugary apology or cheat meals, because that is going to absolutely set you back. You want to make sure you're doing some walking after your meal, 10 to 20 minutes after meals. This is to dispose of the glucose in your bloodstream without having to produce more insulin. And then when it comes to training, you want to keep the intensity about half volume, or just walk and do some light resistance training. This is just till you get back on track in those first few days. Now on days 4 through 7, if your energy, sleep, and mood improve, now you can move to a 14-10 fast from that 12-12. Keep your proteins high, your carbs minimal at the first meal, and sleep like it's your job. 7 to 9 hours per day in a dark and cool room. Sleep is incredibly important to recovery and to weight loss. And women, you want to avoid extended fasts during the late luteal phase, that second half of your cycle, and use a 12-12 or a 14-10 there, even after you get back on track. So the goal markers you should be watching for are warmer hands and feet, better sleep, steadier mood, stronger workouts, and normal appetite. So here's when you should actually look for help and what to check when you're trying to get that help. If you're getting persistent dizziness, palpitations, or fainting, you absolutely need to get medical attention. If you have amenorrhea for greater than 3 months, same thing. Extreme fatigue or rapid hair loss, these are signs of definite problems, and now you need to seek medical care. And you want to ask for things from your physician like fasting insulin levels, your A1C, a complete metabolic profile, ferritin levels, which are a measure of iron and also of inflammation, a CBC, a complete blood count, TSH, which is your thyroid stimulating hormone, plus your free T3, which is the active form of thyroid hormone. And then some of your inflammatory mediators, such as C-reactive protein. So remember that data beats guessing. Let's not guess at what these things look like. Let's actually get them and see what kind of response you need to have as a result of that. And then finally, how to restart the fasting without crashing again. You want to ramp up slowly. Start at that 12-12, as we mentioned, then move to a 14-10, then finally to a 16-8. But skip OMAD, the 1 meal a day, until you're completely stable on that 16-8. Make sure you pick 2 to 4 days per week where you do the 16-8, but don't max fast daily. So don't get right from 12-12 into 16-8 and then you kind of restart the cycle. Remember that you want to prioritize those proteins when you break the fast. You need to get the necessary electrolytes in daily. Remember, while fasting or while on ketogenic or low carb diets, you're going to have very low insulin levels, which will cause your electrolytes to come out in your urine. So you need to supplement those. You need to add those back simply by salting your meat. You don't have to do anything crazy, but you want to make sure you get the necessary electrolytes daily, and you want to get those post-meal walks in. If your sleep or cycle goes sideways, back off a little bit. All right, so remember that discipline isn't doing more, it's doing what works and what works consistently. So here are my final thoughts on fasting. Fasting is powerful when your hormones are completely on board. If the red flags show up, don't push harder. pivot smarter, pause, refeed well, rebuild, and then restart with a body that's ready. So don't forget, here on the Obesity Project, we're cutting through the myths and we're getting to the root. Make sure to stay tuned for episode 108, Fasting Myths People Still Believe. We're gonna blow up the most persistent myths keeping you stuck and hungry. So thank you so much for watching. As always, I appreciate your attention. Hey, do me a huge favor. What I find is many people that watch my videos are not subscribed to our channel. So please subscribe to the channel. It's the easiest way I can continue to get the word out, share that information with people, and I would certainly appreciate you hitting that subscribe button and that bell notification so you know when these new videos come out each and every week. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.